from EnergyAustralia Stadium in Newcastle. It's the Newcastle Knights up against the Penrith Panthers.
Let's take a look at how the two sides will take the field. The home side has several changes. There's no Milton Thaiday, Kirk Reynoldson or Riley Brown. David Siege is the new fullback and Regan Tanner will lock the scrum. The bench is DeVico, Lowry, Daniel Abraham and Chris Bailey in 19. The coach is Michael Hagan. For the visitors, just the one change, and it's a crucial one. Craig Gower is out with a knee ligament strain. His replacement at halfback is Craig Trindle in 18. Tony Poulatua is the captain. John Lang is the coach. Our referee is Stephen Clark in his 285th first grade game as round 25 of the Telstra NRL Premiership continues. And the rain has stopped here in Newcastle. What hasn't stopped are the Panthers' finals aspirations, with the Raiders suffering that 4-point loss to the Storm earlier on Super Saturday. Mathematically, the Penrith club is still in with a chance to play post-season football. Andy Raymond along with former international Wayne Pearce. Another huge crowd at Newcastle for Junior, what could be their last performance on home soil of the season.
It could be, not if they have their own way, the Newcastle fans. There's a tremendous atmosphere here. They're also farewelling a number of the Knights players from this stadium if they don't get a home final.
Give him 10, boys.
Comfortable and relatively conservative opening set from the Knights and a tremendous chase. The home side surrounding Luke Rooney, giving him very little opportunity with the football. This is Reece Wesser, tackled right on the 24. Newcastle players involved in the tackle. The Knights come into this match 6th on the NRL ladder. Of course, they have the bye in round 26.
Stay! Hold, boys, hold!
Campbell moves into dummy half. Finds Craig Staple and Josh Perry bounces off. Could be nice and physical in the centre third over the course of the next 80 minutes. Trindle. De Poulatua out wide. The Newcastle line was condensed. The Panthers couldn't go through it. They tried to go around it. Downfield from the boot of Lee Hookey. And a nice kick from Hookey. In fact, is it a 40-20? Not a known kicker of the footy, Wayne. This could be a huge moment for the Panthers early on.
I think referee Stephen Clark just wants to check whether or not he was inside the 40-metre zone when he kicked it, and well, he's way inside the 40-metre zone, and it was a massive kick. And it's gone out, no doubt there that it's gone out inside the 20-metre zone as well, so this will be a Penrith feat. So that's a tremendous start by Penrith, tremendous kick by Lee Hookey.
John Langing and Penrith fans asking where's that kicking game been all year. Of course, the Panthers tonight without Craig Gower. They've found a long kicking specialist already in the number 4 as Campbell moves into dummy half, links up with Frank Pritchard, the centre of controversy during the week. Time to concentrate on footy again to Campbell. Cut out ball. Coming in from his wing was Anthony Quinn. A good shot put on Danny Galea. Campbell at first receiver again. Trindle at second, had a couple of options, went with Clinton. The Knights are stretched on the far side if that's where the Panthers choose to go, that is. Again, it's Trindle's short ball inside, running the angle as the captain Poulatua. Last tackle, just 3 metres from the line. This would be the perfect start for the Panthers. Campbell grubbers ahead, some confusion from the Knights. The Panthers players screaming that there was an offside, and that is now the ruling from Stephen Clark. Accidental offside, Penrith scrum and ultimately possession.
He's got a tip there from the video ref. Preston Campbell looks for the gap, doesn't quite get the gap. Yeah, well, it was a messy one. Yeah, accidental offside there. Josh Perry picks it up, so it'll be a Penrith feed. They'll get possession from this scrum.
Keep it in!
Short side play, Waterhouse. There's an easy target there. Steve Simpson was quickly out of the scrum. David Siege was there as well. This is the captain Poulatua. All the football with the Panthers, all the field position with the Panthers in the opening 3.5 minutes. Across field they go to Reece West, a long ball. Looking for Michael Gordon, they found him, but the wing three-quarter quickly ran out of room. They remain inside the 10-metre line. The Newcastle line has been effective, coming up as one. And again, they do just that to limit the metres of Craig Stapleton.
Hold. Go.
Out of dummy half, Prittis. Pritchard, Gordon and try! That was smooth from the Panthers. The type of play you practice from January through to September every Tuesday and Thursday night. And for the Penrith side, that practice has made perfect.
Yeah, sustained pressure from the Panthers. A little bit of luck when they got the feed from that accidental offside, but it was great work, great lead-up play. The Knights, they were getting up off their line nice and quickly, which was great. Unfortunately, Anthony Quinn didn't communicate, didn't stay on his wing, and Michael Gordon, as he has done so often this year, hugged the sideline and came up with his 10th try of the season.
Doesn't take a lot of time. And with the ground slippery, he didn't strike it well. Way out to the left. The scoreline remains Penrith 4, Newcastle 0.
And they did well. Unfortunately, Anthony Quinn for the Knights, Anthony Quinn paddled across field, wasn't sure who to take, didn't communicate, and Gordon got on the outside and come up with a try. But it all goes back to that 40-20 that Lee Hookey put in the opening set, a possession that they had the football. So it was a great start there from the Panthers.
Wesser off to Stapleton. Again, good metres. He's off to Cronulla at the end of the year. It has been a good servant for the Panthers over 06. Here is Joel Clinton, used as the decoy as they move the football into the hands of Frank Pritchard. Prittis, now to Clinton, straight and hard. Good contact there was made by Clint Newton, who will operate this left-hand side of the Knights line all night long. Waterhouse, a very easy target centre field. Gidley was there and Perry over the top. Trindle again looking to go round them. Got the ball to Lee Hookey. Last tackle, gain of 41 metres. Campbell gets a big one downfield. Quinn takes it easily on the full. Always a good indicator of mindset and attitude as the chasing team on both sides had a great chase on their kicks so far tonight.
Well, both teams are playing with a lot of enthusiasm. Their defensive line's getting up quick. They're hitting the ball over the advantage line with a lot of power because both teams got a lot at stake. The Knights potentially can make the top 4, and the Panthers, well, their season's on the line. They lose tonight, bang, it's curtains for 2006.
Possession and field position most certainly favouring the Panthers, as you've just seen. 4-0 on the scoreboard, but over 75% of the football in the hands of the visitors early. Huge numbers. Last tackle now for Newcastle. 35 metres gain. Coming to Mullen. That right thigh again heavily strapped. Wesser allowing it to bounce. Loses his footing, and here come the Knights. Good metres ultimately by Reece Wesser.
And yeah, just a great kick there by Jared Mullen. He was outstanding last week for the Knights. No Joey Johns last week. Jared Mullen stepped up to the plate. His kicking game is absolutely superb. Wesser covers this kick up, but it was a great kick. Gets it back into the field of play. Now the Panthers have got it all to do to try and get some decent field position.
Campbell to Clinton. One of 3 players yet to score for the Panthers from the top squad this year, and time is running out. Trindle shows and puts the foot down. Almost got on the outside of the 15 in Tanner, who held on for dear life. As Campbell puts it downfield and right into hands of the exciting Irishman, Brian Carney. Another to leave EnergyAustralia Stadium at the end of the year, but what an impact he's had in a short stint in the NRL.
Yeah, well, he's had more runs with the football than any other player in the NRL. Loves to get his hands on the football. Celebrated his 30th birthday during the week, so he'll be looking to come away with a win here tonight. And well, hopefully for him it won't be his last game, but it could be his last game at EnergyAustralia Stadium.
Gidley wrapping around the ruck, linking up with Clint Newton over the 40-metre line. 2 Panthers required for the tackle, and a quick play the ball. Now into the hands of Woolnough. Back and onto the ground. A forced pass there from Woolnough. Danny Medeiros wasn't expecting it. There are some of the injured Newcastle players, Andrew Johns, Milton Friday, Craig Smith. What about the record with and without Joey?
Well, without Andrew Johns, we can see their win rate, strike rate drops way down to 34%. But you know, he's a key man for the Knights. But on the other side of the ledger, you've got Craig Gower. He's the key man for Penrith, and without Craig Gower, Penrith struggle to win matches as well. They've got a similar winning rate without him, down around the 33-34% as well. So both teams have their key men out.
Big test for continuity and combination out in the centre without their playmakers. Oh, Luke Prentice straight through. Almost got around Siege. Certainly wrong-footed the fullback initially as Campbell gets it off to Pritchard. On to Trindle. He is caught with the football. Good scrambling defence from the Knights. A slow play the ball in the last two. Campbell. Little one over the top, centre field. Far too much on it from Preston Campbell. Decision was perhaps a good one. The execution a little poor.
It's greasy here tonight. Wet conditions. Very slippery on the footwork. And on that occasion, Luke Prentice steps back on the inside, gets around Regan Tanner, makes the break, gets Newcastle on the back foot. Newcastle have just got to settle down, play some basics football, play some field position.
Simpson out of dummy half again, rolling the sleeves up. 11 tackles already for Steve Simpson and 3 hit-ups, the most in both categories for Michael Hagan's men. That's no surprise. An incredible work rate and work ethic for the state and national forward. Gainwest are forced to play at the football, and Kurt Gidley leading the charge down. Gidley misses the tackle on the fullback. The man who didn't was Josh Perry. Good ball and all tackle from the front rower. Rooney this is. Panthers, of course, Wayne, coming off that incredible 32-28 victory over Cronulla at Shark Park 7 days ago, where they trailed 28 points to 8 midway through that second half.
I suppose that's really typical of the Panthers season. They've been really inconsistent. They've had some tremendous games, some good wins, but they've also had some games where they've switched on, they've switched off, they haven't been consistent through the 80 minutes. They'll need to be highly consistent and control possession here tonight, because this Knights team, even without Andrew Johns, they've got a big crowd, plenty at stake, and they're going to push them to the wire.
Good kick from Campbell. It made David Siege cover a lot of ground to get to the football. He's tackled on the 20-metre line. There's a slow play the ball and giving the Panthers line the chance to regroup. And a penalty there to the Knights. Everyone just testing the ref's patience as far as the 10 metres go. They're all up in front. Steve Simpson, huge amount of work early. The Knights will rely heavily on him. Great attacking opportunity now for the home side in front of a massive crowd. Tackled by Pulatur and Hookie. Some concerns at the moment now for the Panthers, because the 11 out there, Frank Pritchard, involved in that tackle, has been limping heavily. It looks like a right ankle problem. He is in the line, but not as mobile as he would have liked. Newton, ball goes backwards, nowhere to go. And he is trapped. Loss in ground on that play. Guterres looks the short side, goes the open through Kurt Gidley. Waterhouse and Stapleton were there defensively. Now it goes offensively. Out wide, Gidley. Gidley's still going. Gidley to the line and scores! Or has he? Stephen Clark points to the spot. The flags are flying. It's 4-all, but at what price? Matthew Gidley holding that right shoulder. possibly his last game here on home soil. What a way for Matthew Gidley to celebrate.
Yeah, well, there was just nothing really doing out there, but a power game from Matthew Gidley. Gets on the outside of Lee Hookey, creates the opportunity with raw strength. Now they just give him the football, hoping that he's ultimately looking to try and get Brian Carney away, but Hookey drops off. He then puts the big friend on Trindle back on the inside, carries him 4 or 5 metres, stretches out and reaches for the line. Just a sign of raw strength.
Tough kick to start the night. 20 metres back. 6 metres in from touch, just in front of the Eastern Grandstand. Didn't strike it well. The scoreline remains 4-all after 16 minutes.
And Jared Mullen there gives early ball to Matt Gidley. It looked as though he was trying to get Brian Carney away, trying to commit Luke Rooney to create the overlap, but he gets on the outside of Lee Hookey and comes up with the try there. He is holding his shoulder. Oh, ouch. That hurt, that little stretch.
Still shaking too is Matt Gidley, trying to get a bit of feeling. Back into the shoulder. Here go the Knights again. That possession statistic is slowly starting to even itself out after all the ball was with the Panthers. The Knights have now pushed it up to some 42%. Here is Clinton Newton. Good body contact, centre field Galea. It was also Pritis involved as Badderas goes to Mullen. Inside ball to Simpson, taking it to the line. Have the right arm free. This New Look Stadium is absorbed a very heavy downpour. Only an hour and a half ago. Whilst it's slippery out there, the surface is in good nick. Rudy. Caught there by Newton.
A big challenge for the Newcastle forwards here tonight because Penrith have got the best go-forward game in the competition. They get over the advantage line with more yardage than any other team. So the Knights forwards really have to step up to the plate and shut down that go-forward. If they can do that, it tends to create problems out wide for the Panthers. They get frustrated.
Strip, boys. Strip. Hey? The strip.
Stephen Clark clear in his ruling. Was it stripped? You be the judge.
Well, there was definitely a Knights hand in there, and Tony Pulatore screaming out to the referee, so you can't argue with that.
Trindle finds the line, and they will start this attacking raid. 35 metres out from the Knights line. 4-all is the score.
Let you go.
Oh!
Wait. Don't bore. Don't bore.
Clinton and Simpson.
Bore.
Smile on the face. Time to restart. There was 2 balls on the field, so time was off. Now it's Stapleton's turn. I think you'll see Clinton and Simpson collide again. Here is Clinton, just going a little wide, running the angle, and was well tackled low by Danny Badderas. Great technique by the number 1 hooker in the game. Pritchard. Good front-on shot that was by the 15 in Tanner. And Regan Tanner is very groggy as the Panthers look for their second of the night. Inside the 10, Pritis, dangerous from close range. Trindle to the line. And in these conditions, you can slide 3 or 4 metres, so the Knights defending well. Crossfield the kick. And again, just a little too much on it. And a big relief there for the home side.
Yeah, the Panthers struggling with the weight of their kicks. Obviously, the wet conditions mean the ball slows down a little bit, but they hit the ball just too hard and didn't slow the ball down enough. That's 2 consecutive sets. They've conceded 20-metre taps to the Knights. They wouldn't be too happy with that at all.
Brian Carney once again doing the dirty work for the Knights. Player that his forwards would really appreciate. Just gets his hands on the football so many times during a game. There's Joel Clinton around the legs and Craig Stapleton over the top. A good combination tackle there from the front row. This time it's Clinton and Pulatore. Won 4 of their last 5 games so far have the Newcastle Knights as they squander possession. Good field position now for the Panthers.
And they're crucifying themselves, the Newcastle Knights. They've completed 6 out of 9 sets, but Penrith are making sure they complete every set. They've completed 9 out of 9, or 8 out of 8 so far, and that's why they're dominating field position. That with a good kicking game.
Pritchard steps, trying to get the left arm free. Here is Clinton, used as the decoy from Prittis. He looked to Stapleton on the outside, saw a hole in the line and shut very quickly. Bit of feeling out there too. Luke Prittis not happy, having a few words. Kick ahead, chance now. We're going upstairs.
Nashy!
Lee Hookie's got a smile on his face.
Yeah. Nashy, we're going here to check onside grounding.
Stephen Clark's gone to the video referee. Meanwhile, Luke Prittis and Adam Woolnough was still exchanging pleasantries 20 metres back this way.
Grounding, please.
Well, it was actually Steve Simpson.
Correct.
And Luke Prittis in back play had an exchange that went on the length of that run from Penrith, so they weren't involved in trying to shut down the attack at all. As you can see in the back right-hand side of your screen there, Steve Simpson and Luke Prittis shuffling together, waltzing together.
Having a little waltz that attracted the attention of a few other players. Lee Hookie straight through the middle in a foot race with David Siege. This will give us the best indication. Does Lee Hookie get there?
Doesn't look like there's any downward pressure. It looks like he maybe gets his hands on the edge of the ball, but I don't know whether there's any downward pressure on that.
Does the benefit of the doubt go in favour of Lee Hookie? We saw 2 distinct cases on Friday Night Football to open up proceedings for round 25.
I think there's a big doubt on that one. I think that's too big a doubt to run with, but we'll wait and see what the video ref thinks.
Our video ref is Steve Nash. No try, 20-metre restart. Luke Prittis wants to have a chat with Stephen Clark about what happened in back play. Clark wants no part of the conversation. And we play on.
That's one! Movement!
It's Luke DeVico onto the field. He's replacing Josh Perry.
Turn! Move! Hold, boys, hold! No!
First interchange by Michael Hagan. A couple of forced changes in the lead up to the game. Of course, they're playing without Milton Thaiday at the back, without Kirk Reynoldsson, and also without Riley Brown. Into the side comes David Siege, Daniel Abraham in 18, Chris Bailey in 19. 14, this is DeVico. He moves the football into Penrith territory. Mullen. A long kicking game, a clever kicking game, and a varied kicking game, which is perhaps the most important aspect of it.
Yeah, a little bit too long on that occasion, but has got a sensational kicking game. It gives the Penrith side a little bit of a breather. And that's that Craig Gower record we were talking about a little bit earlier, where without Craig Gower, the win rate, or the loss rate, I should say, of Penrith is very similar to that of Newcastle without Andrew Johns. So both men crucial to their respective sides, which means that respective halfbacks need to step up to the plate. So far in this game, though, the Penrith forwards have laid a pretty good foundation.
And a majority of the football, majority of field position too, which certainly has helped. Clinton has a juggle at the ball, and it's an easy target there. 3-man tackle. Front row of Woolnough and DeVico were there, along with Clint Newton. This is Trent Waterhouse. Just game number 14 for the year. Spent a large chunk of the season watching from the sideline.
Off his legs.
Siege traps it just 10 metres out. Gets a good hold of the football. There's a hole in the chasing team down the centre third of the field. Preston Campbell knew it, was forced to push up and did well to stop the fullback.
Struggling to get any sort of momentum, Newcastle. They're playing like a nervous team, and like a team that really is a little bit lost. And Penrith have gained some superiority in the forwards, and Newcastle scratching their heads rather than just roll their sleeves up and get stuck into them.
Medeiros inside the 40. Getting close to the sideline. Wesser throws it back infield. That's a speculator. Luke Rooney juggled it, pushed it back. It was fancy from the Panthers.
Well, it could have been a turning point. Great athleticism, great anticipation as well. And the Panthers saved the day because, as we saw early on, in these conditions, a 40-20 can turn the match on its head.
How would John Lang be feeling with his Panthers? They have been inconsistent at best this year. He's up on the feet already on the sideline here at EnergyAustralia Stadium. They had one of the better runs into semi-final football, and in consecutive weeks, and I'm not giving it to Souths, and I'm certainly not giving it to the Roosters, but the Panthers, with a lot to play for, Junior, were beaten by the 15th and 14th place sides in the competition.
Well, that's right. Inconsistency is the term that best describes Penrith this year. Even last week against the Sharks, they really struggled because they actually switched on. They were off early. They were on. They were off early. They were on, and just inconsistent within that game as well. Good kick there by Penrith. They've started this game in a very mechanical fashion. Penrith, Newcastle struggling.
Very careful. You lift your arms up. What's that in, mate? On a kicker down there. You don't hit him like you know what I'm talking about. Out!
George Carmon just getting a running warning about an incident at a charge down a couple of minutes ago, and George pleaded innocent. I don't think Stephen Clark liked it. Again, the Knights getting the ball, but in poor field position. And with the Penrith forwards dominating that centre corridor, it really has been hard physical work. A lot of it thankless because they haven't been going too far downfield. Here is Davika.
Penrith jamming the defensive line up as well, tempting Newcastle to go around, but Newcastle don't have the confidence to go around or to attempt to go around Penrith, and they're getting bashed in tight.
Mullen, another long kick downfield, taken on the full by Campbell. Slips before he gets to the line. George Carmon grabs him by the scruff of the neck and says, "Come here, Presto." Good, strong defence. This time it's Quinn and also Tanner involved in the tackle. Been good again this year as George Carmon. Missed just the one game.
Loose carry.
And he's involved in that tackle. A loose carry from Trent Waterhouse, who gets up filthy. Newcastle football in good field position, and a great opportunity for the home side with just under 15 minutes remaining in the opening half.
Yeah, big play there. Big tackle by Georgie Carmon to force the error. Best attacking opportunity for the Knights so far in this match.
Don't you stay in there, Trent. I'll call you out. He kicked it out of his hand. You kicked it out of his hand, Joel. You can't. He kicked it out of his hand. When it's in there, Joel, you have a go for it. Not beforehand. Wait. Out!
Joel Clinton would have had to have the longest legs in the world to have a play at that football. That went via the lock's feet in the direction towards the fullback. Here is Davika. Middle of the field in Newcastle, tackles in their favour. Mullen across field to Newton, damaging as a wide running second rower. He is brought down now from Medeiros. Uses one decoy to Gidley. On to Big Brother, Matt Gidley. He scores a double for Newcastle. It is 8 points to 4 in favour of the Knights. And what a night for Matt Gidley.
Thanks, Jonesy.
Thanks, little brother.
And a tremendous build-up to that play. They worked from the set. It was a great attacking opportunity from that scrum. And Gidley, once again, too strong out wide. He's got a great step for a big man. They had bodies in motion. That drew the runners. There was indecisiveness in the defensive line. Gidley puts his jig on, ducks the head, goes over for the try.
Regan Tanner struck the first one poorly. That is a lot better as the flags go up. And with just over 11 minutes remaining here at EnergyAustralia Stadium, it's a big 10-4 in favour of the Newcastle Knights.
And Newcastle showed just what they can do when they get good field position. They've been down inside the Penrith 20-metre zone only 2 occasions in this match, and they've come up with 2 tries each time they've got down there. Their problem has been controlling possession and getting the decent field position.
16 times the Panthers have been tackled in the opposition 20 for just the 1 try. So good indication of how strong and how solid that Newcastle goal line defence has been.
On the other side of the equation, the Knights have been down 5 times. They've had 5 tackles inside the Penrith 20-metre zone and come up with 2 tries. So it shows you how brittle Penrith's goal line defence is as well.
Penalty Newcastle. Stephen Clark saw a hand in there. It was Paul Ayton who has just come on for Trent Waterhouse. Tony Puletua also getting a rest. In his place is Luke Swain. Here go the Knights once again. DeVico charging into the line. Good leg speed and leg drive. Woolno looked to run over the top of the little 17 in Ayton. Big Frankie Puletua was there as well. Crossfield goes Mullen. Good back. He gets the ball back from Steve Simpson. Little number 7 has nowhere to go. 2 tries to 1, 10 points to 4. Inside the final 10 minutes of this opening half. Back to Mullen, now on to Gidley. Newton steps 1, steps again, slides to within 7 metres of the line. Last tackle. Mullen steering the ship well. Grubbers through and a chance. Guess who was there? Matt Gidley. But Lee Hooking beat him to the football. Gidley was looking for a first hat-trick.
Plenty of skill in that kick as well. The way he rolled it around there, Mullen, it spun back, held up in goal, forced Hookie to play at it. They get the repeat set now. Smart play by the Knights and really grinding away. But I must say the Penrith inside defence is struggling with the step and the footwork of the Knights and also the inside balls.
Decent dropout. DeVico tackled inside the 30 and still going. Luke DeVico wrestling for every metre and wrestling with Danny Galea and Luke Swain. Bit of feeling in this one. Woolno. He's upended by much littler Paul Ayton. Swain was in there as well. Here is Badeiras dancing across field and to within 10 metres. Plays the ball on the head of Luke Prittis. Kurt Gidley dummies. Goes himself. Was that dangerous? No, says Clark. Now Badeiras goes from dummy half. Still going. He's over the line.
Hold up.
And we're going to come back 10 metres as time has blown off.
Take it out there. Wait for the whistle, Danny.
Strong little fella, isn't he, Danny Badeiras? He was outnumbered, out-muscled, and he still had the power to fight for the points. He didn't quite get there. Last tackle, Mullen across field. Problems for Campbell. And Preston Campbell is collared at the back. Very strong tackle from Todd Lowry. He had to extend to get the little number 6. He did just that. That's urgency.
Yeah, there's enthusiasm there as well. And once again, smart play by the Knights, rolling it in goal, really grinding away at this Penrith defensive line. They've been going through the middle the last couple of plays. Look to them to spread it wide early on this set.
Much better dropout, but what it did, it gave DeVico the chance to really wind up before coming into contact with the Panthers line. Here is big Josh Perry onto the field for Adam Woolno, who's getting a break. Newton inside to Siege, and Siege goes straight through the middle. Newcastle, they extend their lead here at EnergyAustralia Stadium. It is 14-4 kick to come.
Smart work there by the Knights. They had their back line set on both sides. They spread the Penrith defence and then they changed the angle. They went back through the ruck because the Penrith defenders had spread to try and mark up man for man on the Knights' spread attackers. They created an opportunity through the ruck and it was good work. Good ball by Clint Newton, and David Siege, who is very much an underrated player, comes up with the try. He's been plagued by injuries over the past couple of seasons, but steps up once again tonight when required and comes up with the try.
Was that good offensive work by the Knights or poor defensive application and execution on behalf of the Panthers? I know what Johnny Lang's thinking at the moment. He thinks it's the latter. A couple of Panthers are pretty easy to get past there on route to the line.
Well, I mentioned a little bit earlier how they've struggled, I think, all night with the inside defender. The inside defenders have been dropping off, haven't been communicating, haven't been working hard enough. And on that occasion, it was glaring. They tried to defend sideline to sideline. As a result, there was a big gap through the ruck.
Yep. Daniel Abraham is our new kicker. He slots his. Score blows out to 16-4. Good to see Daniel Abraham back. Of course, suffered an horrendous broken leg at this very venue. So we have a look at the try again. Good work by Newton to draw the defenders, but Swain and Wesser in that back line. It was only a little jink off the left and off the right, and David Siege was there. Of Craig Smith, the man playing the ball now, Luke DeVico, is certainly contributing as far as the maturity of the pack and keeping a level head on some of the younger guys in this football team. Been two good purchases for the club, not only for their on-field work, but also for their off-field leadership. Perry driven backwards. Tony Pulatua back on the field. In that tackle with Brother Frank. It's Brian Norrie in 15. The Knights with 2 tries late in the half to blow the scoreline out. 16-4. Mullen keeping the ball in hand onto Carmont, who has support inside and out. Finds Mullen. Still going. Couldn't get the hands free. And is it a Penrith football? The zero tackle.
Yeah, good frame in the defence in the end there by the Panthers, but Jared Mullen did all the great work, and when as he was being tackled, tried to force the last pass, went straight into the hand of the Panthers. So tried to force this pass out there and bang, went straight to Luke Prentice. He comes up with possession, but once again Penrith switching off in defence, not communicating, not moving up as a unit, as a line.
Here's Tony Pulatua. Going to Trindle. He pumps it downfield. David Siege is perfectly positioned.
A strange play there. They're kicking on tackle 4, obviously looking for the 40-20, but David Siege was aware to it, alert to it, having conceded a 40-20 early on.
We spoke about Frank Pritchard a little bit earlier with some problems limping around. I thought it was right ankle. Well, that's close enough. Left knee, left thigh.
It's part of his body.
It's part of his body, and it was difficult to walk on. Here goes Newton. Perhaps collared a little high there by Norrie. And Clint will let him know about it. Has taken over, I think, from Terry Hill as the slanging king as far as rugby league verbal sprays go.
I might just question that. I don't think anyone's taken over from Terry Hill just at the moment. He was the super king.
Kick infield. Preston Campbell watched it go dead in goal. Just under 2.5 minutes remaining here at EnergyAustralia Stadium. 3 tries to 1. In fact, the Newcastle Knights have dominated the last 20 minutes of this opening half and have looked a polished unit in the process.
Yeah, but it's shaping up similar to Penrith's last week's encounter against the Sharks. Penrith came out on fire against the Sharks. First 20 minutes, they were all over the Sharks. Then they went into hibernation mode, similar to tonight. And it wasn't until the back end of the game that they clicked into gear. But I don't know whether they're going to have the luxury of being able to find that same sort of form against a Knights outfit that's desperate to try and clinch a top 4 berth.
It's also 16 unanswered points from the Newcastle Knights. Of course, Penrith led 4-0 early as Campbell got the ball somehow onto Craig Trindle. There's 3 Knights there to stop the ball going anywhere else. On the last tackle, now to Campbell. Bit of variation in the kick. Siege once again is there. Wesser was looking for a try as well. Newcastle have won just one of their last 5 at home, and that was a scrappy 24-16 win over the Rabbitohs. Final minute of the opening half. Get the feeling both sides will be pretty keen to get to the sheds. Newcastle content, you would imagine, with a 12-point advantage. The Panthers, again, perhaps wondering what might have been. Gidley gets under the shot of Galea and runs into 2 forwards for his trouble. Last tackle for Newcastle. Mullen to the air he goes. A test now for Wesser. Does well. Reece Wesser then knocks the ball forward. So one final chance for Newcastle. 15 seconds remaining in the half. Short ball to Vico. Head down. Backside up. He charges to the line and scores. A huge play for Newcastle. And as the siren sounds in the background, it is their 4th try of the night. 20 points to 4, still kick to come.
That could well be the try that destroyed Penrith's season, because there was really nothing doing. Wesser goes up for it. He was challenged for the football by Georgie Carmont, comes up with it, and then loses it in these greasy conditions. From the ensuing play, Penrith are on the back pedal trying to regain their defensive line, and DeFico, he just rips in. He just sticks it under his arm and just rips in like a bull at a gate. Sees the try line there, says, I can win this match for us, and bang, comes up with the try. So, but it was nothing doing. Reece Wesser in these greasy conditions just couldn't control the football, and Luke DeVugo comes up with his 2nd try of the season on the stroke of half-time, and we get the conversion.
Conversion is successful. An entertaining opening 40 minutes here at EnergyAustralia Stadium. The Newcastle Knights, are they on their way to a top 4 finish as finals football approaches? Stay with us here on Super Saturday. It is 22 points to 4 in favour of the Knights.
Side, boys.
So down by 18 points. Is the season over for the Panthers, who mathematically are still a hope of making post-season football, but they have to record a win here tonight over the Knights. 4 first-half tries to 1 in favour of the home side. In fact, 22 unanswered points. It was a really dominant performance from Newcastle in the last 20-25 minutes of that opening stanza. Penrith have first opportunity with the footy in this second half. Pritis darts out a dummy half, gets the ball loose to Trindle. He gets it on to Campbell. Now it is through to Wesser. Galea, he's brought down. Jared Mullen, the halfback, defending out on that left-hand side. The Gold Coast bound Frank Pulatua. We think Gold Coast bound anyway, and one of a number of players who it's been reported has been having second thoughts about heading to the new franchise in 07. One man who's definitely changing clubs has got the ball now, Anthony Quinn, moving down south to the Melbourne Storm. Good ball movement there from Carmont to Siege, although he was quickly jumped on by big Tony Pulatua. DeVico, the try scorer, coming together with Luke Pritis. Approaching halfway, Clint Newton was tackled down low by Pritis, then backed it into the line. That line included Galea. Perry battling for metres. Certain commitment there shown by the Panthers. Downfield it goes from Mullen, and a poor kick this time from Jared to Wesser. The ball goes backwards and he hands it off to Preston Campbell.
Yeah, a little bit hesitant there, Reece Wesser. Hopefully he's not thinking of the error he made just on the stroke of half-time when they conceded a try. But coming out after half-time, no doubt Johnny Lang would have stressed to them at half-time that they've got to get their defence in order. They can make breaks. They've shown that they can actually put pressure on Newcastle, but the defensive line has been the thing that's been vulnerable.
Luke DeVico scored a try late in the first half. There he is still on the field. When he scored the try, his shoulder popped out. It has popped back in, but he had quite a bit of treatment at half-time. And the veteran front rower, affectionately termed Statue, remains on the field. 48-metre game from the Panthers, and an awkward kick, and a test now for Siege, a spiralling bomb. And the fullback positioned himself brilliantly at the back to take the ball that was going away from him.
Yeah, there was nothing kick in the end, really, because it was too long. No pressure on David Siege on that occasion. Challenge still early in this second half is for Penrith to get some field position. And one thing they've got to do is shut down the go forward from Newcastle around the rucks and work hard on the inside in defence.
Still going. Good metres from Todd Lowry. Left thigh heavily strapped. Once again it's Newton. There must have been a special on left thigh guards at the local sports store. Newton's got one. Lowry's got one. They're not the only two. Jared Mullen's sporting one.
Is there a difference between the left thigh guard and the right thigh guard?
The seam. And a kick with just a little too much on it. Luke Rooney plays the waiting game. And a free 20 metres for the Panthers.
And we saw there how vulnerable the Panthers can be through the rucks.
I'm trying to give this bloke a tip about him in the 10 metres. He was offside a couple out on the left, not getting involved in play. So I'm trying to give him a tip. Then he wants to swear at me. Mate, you're the captain, you control him, because if he gives me another serve of that, you'll be in the bin. I accept your apology. Thank you. Wait there.
Now that was nice of Luke to apologise, but I don't think anyone can control or calm Luke Prittis. He is an absolute competitor, as intense as athlete as you'll find on and off the field.
A very accommodating Steve Clark, wasn't he? Thank you, Luke.
Thank you for your apology. Try that one at home next time I come home a little bit late from the pub with the boys. Here goes the 17 in 18. Prittis now. The angelic Luke Prittis moves into dummy half and scoots and steals some 6 or 7 metres of his own. Heading towards halfway, Campbell gets the ball to Wesser, on to Pulatua. Still battling for metres. It's something Tony does well. Now back for Campbell on the last. Looking for the deflection. Still a chance. Ball has gone everywhere, into a number of players and off a number of players. Ultimately, it ended up with the fullback Siege. Here is Carney.
Once again, a poor completion to the set by Penrith. It continues the trend in this match. They've made good yardage upfield time after time, but the last kick has gone dead in goal. It's been high, putting no pressure on the opposition, and they've let themselves down big in that area.
DeVico, just a little tip on there to Perry. Last tackle for Newcastle. Again, Mullen looked to try and get it over the top of Campbell. He couldn't from the left boot, and Campbell finds Wesser, steps off the left foot and runs right into Kurt Gidley. Kurt spent a lot of time on the sideline this year, mid-season, back just a couple of weeks. Doesn't look to be too much rust in the body at the moment.
No, and that's a challenge for Newcastle. If Jared Mullen goes to halfback, obviously hasn't played much there because of Andrew Johns, and Kirk Gidley goes into 5'8", so a new half 5'8" combination that they've got to try and work together as well. So far in this match, been combining well. Andrew Johns was very pleased with the way Jared Mullins is controlling this game early on.
Good endorsement for Mullen as Siege takes the ball on his own goal line. A good endorsement for Mullen was the control of the game that Andrew was allowing the rookie when Andrew was on the field. He was allowing Jared pretty much to control a majority of the early count plays. He let Jared do a lot of the kicking, and certainly showing his trust in the youngster has given Jared Mullen plenty of confidence, because he's a talented young footballer, the number 7. Here's Clint Newton, in fact Mullen, a former Australian schoolboy. Gidley, good tip onto Carmont. Campbell had him covered, beats one, tried to get round Michael Gordon, but couldn't. Gordon came back for a second go at the centre. Baderis, Mullen, Kurt Gidley, over the top. Luke Rooney is there and takes it easily. A kick that just had a little too much on it. Didn't give the outside Newcastle Knights players the opportunity to contest for the ball, as Luke Pritter slowly, very slowly in fact, makes his way back into the line. This is the reason why perhaps copped an accidental elbow there around the back of the tackle from Clint Newton. And Muttley, as he is known, is still struggling. Wesser. It's the ball on to Trent Waterhouse. Kick downfield from Campbell. Siege takes it on the full. The opening 8 minutes of this second half has been pretty much an arm wrestle, a midfield arm wrestle. No team really gaining any ascendancy. Territory's been relatively evenly shared.
And it's pretty important from Newcastle's point of view, having got a good start in this game, that they go on with the match as they make an error on that occasion there. Good defence by Penrith.
I didn't think he went that far.
Danny Baderis just questioning the ref, saying, was that dangerous?
Yeah, poor ball carry there, I think, Daniel Abraham. But it's important that Newcastle go on with this match now that they've got a good start, because if they're looking for to secure a top 4 spot in a home semi-final match, they're currently seated behind Manly, Parramatta and Brisbane on points differential for and against, so they need a big win in this match to take them up to threaten for a top 4 position.
They'll move, should they win here, they'll move in front of one of those sides come the end of tomorrow. Of course, Parramatta playing host to the Broncos to finish round 25.
The big problem for Newcastle from that point of view is they're guaranteed 2 points last round, but they can't improve their points differential because they won't be playing.
Waterhouse bounces off a couple, then steals a few more metres. Galea moves into dummy half. Clinton juggles it, loses it, and taking the ball was big Josh Perry. But Joel Clinton was charging into the Newcastle line, just had a look up, and compounding the error.
Trent Waterhouse pushing
was just
down.
a little too much enthusiasm defensively from Trent Waterhouse. Just holding down the offensive player a little too long. That's the reason for the penalty.
Well, they're trying to slow down the play of the ball because Newcastle have got a pretty good roll on in this second half. 3-1 the penalty, so the Knights get good field position off the back of that penalty.
Both coaches have gone to their bench. Luke DeVico is off. So too is Clint Newton. Here is Perry, centre field. 20 metres out. Operating the near side through Jared Mullen, who ran into Tony Paulatua. 15 metres out, 4 tries to 1 in favour of Newcastle. Baderis with the no-looker pass to Regan Tanner. Aton was there desperately defensively. Baderis back to the 20, David Siege, who stumbled and stuttered and tried to step his way through. Options on both sides of the park. They go to the open side. Mullen puts it in the air. Now a test for Campbell. Preston Campbell flies high. Who's got the ball? Newcastle have.
Lashley, last tackle. We're going to check. Yeah, they will be. We're going to check onside and then to see if there's a knock on and then through to the ground.
Benefit of the doubt try.
I'll take your catch there, AJ.
You wouldn't be the first, you won't be the last, with just under half an hour remaining.
But great
the Knights
work.
stretch their lead.
Great work once again by Jared Mullen. Saw that there was a vacuum out there. No Penrith players out in that corner of the field. And the only 2 players who are out there, Preston Campbell, short defensive player. Gordon not that tall either. And Quinn goes up for the football. Good challenge. Comes up with possession. Good hands to retain control of it and come up with the try. So the Knights started well in second half, building momentum, sustaining pressure, and Anthony Quinn comes up with his 11th try of the season.
Is it coming back? Not enough, so the scoreline remains 26 points to 4 in favour of the Newcastle Knights. Anthony Quinn tonight celebrating game 101 in a decorated career, a first-tier representative footballer. Scoreline similar to what it was 7 nights ago before the Panthers mounted that comeback against the Sharks at Shark Park. I have reservations about whether they can repeat that performance over what has been a pretty polished Newcastle performance.
Well, since they started a bit tentatively, the Knights, but since then they've built in confidence the longer the game has gone on. They've controlled possession. They've made the most of the opportunities they've had. And Penrith, well, their defensive line just lacks the urgency, particularly when the ball they get tested back on the inside around the ruck.
Going open side again as Lowry, Parramatta bound. A good signing for mine, for the Eels for 07 and beyond. Of course, he'll be linking up with a couple of former teammates down there in the form of Tamana Tau. Of course, Coach Michael Hagan is also heading down that way. Gidley used as the first choice kicker this time, and a poor kick from Kurt in respect that it went straight to Luke Rooney, and an enthusiastic chasing outfit from the Knights. They lead by 22. The intensity levels are still there. The bye next week, of course, for the Knights. Round 26, Wayne. Good time or bad time?
Well, they've got a couple of injuries. Craig Smith's out injured. I think he's a big game player. He's someone they need back. He'll be back for the finals. Andrew Johns, I mean, I think they would certainly benefit from another game. That it hasn't been a slick performance tonight, but having said that, they'll have a couple of guys back, and Andrew Johns back fresh from a break should be dynamic in the finals.
18 is Trindle. He goes over the top. A very well-weighted kick. In fact, just a couple too many rolls on it. Hit the slippery ground here and skidded a little bit more than the number 18 thought. Quick restart, and Matt Gidley, who has scored a double tonight, does that restart. Just short of the 30-metre line. Here is Brian Carney. Afforded no metres whatsoever. There's Lee Hookie down low there.
Hands out.
Simplified game plan from the Knights tonight, but it has been effective as Woolnough and Clinton have it coming together.
Well, what they've done in the second half, the Knights, they've kept it a lot tighter. They've actually gone through the rucks and taken Penrith on and engaged them in the forward, something they didn't do in the first half. And as a result of that, they've played better field position.
Here come the Knights, a challenge for Wesser.
Now that's enthusiasm there. There were 6 Knights players on that chase. They realise that they can go on with this game. They'll be looking not to just win this game by the current margin. They'll be looking to extend their lead. Once again, that points differential is going to be important for the top 8 opposition.
Hold, boys. Hold! Go!
Panthers looking to go around the Knights, getting the feeling that they can't go through them. That's Trindle lifted up and driven back a couple. Pulatua had to bend down from dummy half to get the football, which means he's starting from a standstill. It limits his effectiveness. Preston Campbell forced to kick inside the 10-metre line. David Siege gets the football and crosses the halfway. What a wonderful opportunity for Newcastle as Siege steps and muscles his way over the 40-metre line. Here is Quinn. Already scored one in this second half. Would dearly love another. Come on. Very short ball there to Woolnough. Was taken in a strong front on tackle by Prittis, Stapleton and Clinton. Whole front row combining there as it goes from one Gidley to another, and Matthew was almost through. Wouldn't he love a hat-trick tonight? Kurt Gidley to the line. Now to Jared Mullen, who is swamped by Trent Waterhouse. Could do little there, the little number 7. A lot of reasons to be optimistic for Newcastle fans. Good performance here tonight, 5 tries to 1. Of course, there is that little number 7. You also have to come back into the team. And he certainly adds some points, and he'll be on fresh legs after 3 weeks out of the game. What can the Knights do in 06? Prittis, Trindle, Campbell looking to go wide. They do just that into the hands of Gordon. Tried to isolate Mullen defensively. That didn't work because Anthony Quinn was there as well. Still in their own half, and Campbell forced a kick. Charge down there. 6 again. Stroke of luck there for the Penrith Panthers as Mullen tackles Wesser. That's the 0.
Yeah, once again, we see the difference between the kicking game, or quality of the kicking game from both teams. Penrith really struggled in this match to get a good kick away to finish their sets in an affirmative and positive fashion, whereas Newcastle have been spot on with their clearing kicks all night.
In fact, considering the conditions here at EnergyAustralia Stadium, there was a huge downpour this afternoon. It is very slippery. Standard of football has been good. Completion rates are high. Knights have completed 26 of 31. And the Panthers 20 of 24. Rudder through. That was the last tackle play. Again, perhaps the decision was right, but the execution just wasn't there.
And once again, Newcastle take their time. They're way in front. But they won't want to just rest on their laurels. They won't want to win this game by the current scoreline. They want to go on with it.
6-2 the line breaks in favour of the Knights. What about that missed tackle count? Not necessarily rubbishing the Panthers for 27. That's a little on the high side, admittedly. But 8 missed tackles for the Knights. That is outstanding. Newton and Waterhouse. It was a double headlock there as they fell to the ground. Trindle, second man ball, Aiton. Out to Lee Hookey, dangerously close to the sideline. Aiton to Trindle, down to Tony Pulatua. Trying to get the right arm free, had Luke Prittis behind him, just couldn't under the weight of numbers. The ball has come free, and it has been ruled loose carry by Pulatua. No penalty to the visitors. And that is a huge relief for Newcastle.
Yeah, it's just sloppy play in the end. I mean, Tony Pulatua's claiming that it was stripped out. Well, I mean, where's the onus on the ball carrier to have ball security? I mean, that's what Stephen Clark, I think, has ruled. And Tony Pulatua says, well, it was stripped.
Steady, boys, in you go, Penrith.
Hey, goal
You all right,
set.
Craig?
What's the push?
Can you get in, mate?
What's the push? Is that straight or what? Out!
Bailey on for Tanner. Chris Bailey, that is, as the Knights spill the football. Opportunity now for the visitors, who trailed 26 points to 4 at the hour mark of the game. Inside to Tony Pulatua. Good ball movement from the visitors. Still just the 8 missed tackles from Newcastle. They'll be keen not to miss any more in this next set of tackles. Clinton used as the decoy as it goes to Prittis. He puts it on the boot. That was just tackle 2. And Newcastle have the football.
I think it's a bit of a sign of frustration there from Luke Prittis. He wanted to take it up on his own shoulders to create something, but there was really nothing doing. And on tackle 2, it's a big gamble, big risk to take.
Great tackle from Waterhouse around the legs of Gidley. Into open space is George Carmont. Anthony Quinn is on his outside. He had to stop to retrieve the football, lost his footing, gets it back to Jared Mullen. He sprints down the sideline. Here comes Wesser, but Reece Wesser's not fast enough. Jared Mullen, he scores the night's 6th try. It is 30 points to 4, and Newcastle are a class above.
They certainly are, and it came off the back of a great break by George Carmos, running into space. Joel Clinton, I don't know what Joel Clinton was doing out in the centres defending, but there's no way a front rower can defend against a centre in those situations. And Jared Mullen, in outstanding form, did a couple of similar things to this last week, and he's backed it up again tonight on the spot. Right moment, right time. Carmont was a poor pass. It looked like the play had gone dead on that occasion, but Mullen supports and shows a surprising turn of speed to outrun Gordon and Wesser to make it to the try line. So fantastic performance by Newcastle, but Jared Mullen in particular, who's had a tremendous game.
Certainly nothing wrong with the strike of the football, just lifted out to the right a little bit, had the distance. Scoreline remains 30 points to 4.
And once again, Jared Mullen around the outside, looking on the inside. Where is Wesser? When's Wesser going to catch me? He's thinking, but Reece, no chance in the world of catching Jared Mullen on that occasion. Now Penrith go for the short kickoff.
Certainly got to try something, and the ball has gone forward according to Stephen Clark. It's the right ruling. Luke Prittis doesn't agree with it. Something that happened in back play. Young Chris Bailey got onto the football field for the Knights. For just over a minute, we understand. He's back in the sheds already, has torn a hamstring. He'll play no further part tonight.
Steady.
Newcastle came into the game in 6th place on the ladder, and behind Parramatta and Brisbane by some margin as far as points for and points against goes. At the moment, they could well move into the top 4 by the end of the weekend. Another try would make it very interesting as far as that equation goes. Good solid stuff right on the halfway line. Again, it was Perry. An improved performer for the Knights this year has been Josh Perry, and I think he's really matured as a front rower under the leadership of guys like Luke DeVico and Craig Smith.
It's been a tremendous performance tonight without Andrew Johns. Last week was their first win without Andrew Johns in 11 matches. Tonight, obviously, their second win in 12 matches. There he is there. Be very, very pleased with the way his halves have stepped up tonight. But it's really been off the back of his Newcastle forwards, particularly in this second half, really stepping up and standing up to the muscle men in the Penrith forwards. And Penrith have had no answers to the domination of Newcastle in this second half.
Panthers, for the most part, too, have been overwhelmed in this late part of the season. Here is Pritchard, who went towards half-time with ice bags on both knees. As Panthers go across field into the hands of Rooney. Still the last tackle. Now to Prittis. Back it goes to Hookie. He grubbers ahead. Lee Hookie had 2 goes to the football.
Lee Hookie, you pushed that. You pushed him. You pushed David Seeds. You pushed him right in the back.
And a penalty going to Newcastle. I thought Hookie initially was held out. That wasn't the case. Hookie was the one doing the pushing.
Yeah, interference there by Lee Hooker. It was great work, good build-up work, and it kicks through. A little bit of a shoulder into the back of David Siege. Referee spotted it, so the Knights once again will get a relieving penalty.
Just a chat. There was a kick. Danny Badeiros kicked the ball on the last out of dummy half. Now I've called play on. Now the touches have told me you pushed him, but you pushed him right in the face and over on his backside, right? Can't do it, eh? Just stay out. Yep.
Stephen Clark just laying down the law again. And a bad mistake from the Knights. Wesser, beautiful work at the back. Reece Wesser. That was outstanding. And feeds the ball on to Craig Trindle. At times, he is just brilliant to watch. The Penrith number 1. Here is Clinton from a standing start. Look at this from Reece Wesser. Mid-air, bats it back in. Took one step back in the field of play and picked up Trindle on his outside. Critis goes the short side. Michael Gordon looking for his second for the night. Back to Campbell. On to Trindle, second receiver. Now to Wesser. Wesser couldn't get past Kurt Gidley. Matt Gidley was on the outside, and also there was the 11 in Simpson. Campbell to the posts. David Siege watches it go over the dead-end goal line, and a free 20 metres now for Newcastle, who have absorbed a lot of pressure and sustained pressure in the last 10 or 15 minutes. I guess with this victory, it is official. Our top 8 is confirmed for the final series. What a season it has been too. Still one round of the regular season to go, where 8 teams will be looking just to polish what they look to put into practice in week 1 of the finals.
Trent Waterhouse, grapple.
And for 7 teams, it'll be all about pride next weekend, and that's exactly what it's about now for Penrith, who get marched another 10 metres. Trent Waterhouse has got the head down. This is the reason why.
Yeah, Trent Waterhouse comes in with a high tackle, gets ruled, grapple tackle there. Adam Woolnough appealing to the referee. Knights now with, once again, another tremendous attacking position.
Current for and against. The Knights plus 60, the Eels plus 60, and the Broncos plus 58. Not a lot in it, and that is exactly what it will come down to next weekend. Playing the ball, albeit slowly, is Newton. Vidaris, Kurt Gidley, as the Newcastle chant goes up around what is a magnificent stadium now with a brand new Eastern grandstand. Gidley steps, trying to get the ball back to Siege. It's gone forward and into the hands of Wesser. He's driven to the ground. Again, it was Simpson. Also, there was Matt Gidley. And the Knights muscling up after 70 minutes. And with a lead of 26, Newcastle is still putting every bit into every tackle.
Down on his head. Adam Woolnough. Was it?
That's the reason for the penalty.
And enthusiasm in that tackle there. You can see 3 Knights defenders in there looking to slow down the play of the ball. Penrith, just in this second half, really lacking the momentum, really lacking to go forward, the enthusiasm they had in the first half. They've been trying to do too much of this, too much of the lateral movement before they engage the Newcastle forwards.
Here is Clinton. Oh, Simpson! That's big stuff! There's been plenty of expansive footy played over the last 70 minutes, but Simpson and Clinton colliding. It was good as Campbell crabs across field. Wesser spelt it behind him. That call from our referee as Gordon steps centre field. He links up with the gifted number 6. On to Prentice. Spits it out the back. Craig Stapleton is now in control of the football. It's a bit like Oztag on a Tuesday night at the local field from the Panthers at the moment. Happy to throw it round. That's tackle 4. Trindle. Dummies one way. Goes himself. Spits it out to Campbell. He put it on the boot. The ball goes backwards. 6 again. In the hands of Prentice. Now to Clinton. Sidesteps. Joel Clinton still going. Gets dangerously close, denied by a couple of metres. Trindle over the top. Pulatua tried to tap it on, and it ends up in the hands of the Knights, in the hands of Kurt Gidley.
And once again there we see Penrith looking to move the ball around, keeping it alive. It looks fantastic, looks spectacular, but the Knights were just holding their line, sliding across field and shutting down the threat.
Newton, so effective on that left fringe. Mullen a dummy half. DeVico that time used as the decoy. I don't know as an opposing coach or player if I'd like to be coming to a full EnergyAustralia Stadium week 1 of the semi-finals. A. Johns in the number 7 and 22-odd thousand in the stands.
Get out.
And with the side playing a very effective brand of football. Trent Waterhouse, he's going to be called out here, I think you'll find, by Stephen Clark. That's the captain, Tony Pulatua, but Waterhouse venting his frustration.
Trent Waterhouse!
Sponsored by United Services Union, currently representing local government, clerical.
Frustrating you.
That's the reason
Got to
why.
feel what it's doing to me.
Stephen Clark calls out to pick number 13.
If ever there was an obvious one, Trent, that was it. You had him, which was no problems. Yeah, well, you get up and you go to the side, mate. You don't go over the top. You went straight over. I haven't finished yet. You go straight over the top, and then twice in the space of about 5 minutes, you want to give me a gobful. You gave me a gobful up there and now. Now that's all with you. Now, Tony, we've had a lot of penalties against your side and a lot for ill discipline like he's just shown in the ruck. All right, you're the captain. You control these blokes. All right, because if I've got to control them, you know what I'm going to do? I'll put a bloke in the bin. All right, so you go and talk to those blokes, particularly him, who's giving me a mouthful every time he does something silly, and I've got to penalise him.
Last tackle. Josh Perry. He strolls over. A simple try to finish the night for Newcastle. Hugs all around. The girls, they get to do the routine for the 7th time tonight. There's been plenty of 4-pointers, and the big front row are chiming in at the end, 34-4. Not a try-scoring freak by any means. Josh Perry, just 14 in his career. But as I said earlier, it's been a more mature Josh Perry and a more effective Josh Perry for mine this year.
Yeah, he's certainly stepped up this year, Josh Perry. He's playing with a lot more consistency and also looking to exert the physical presence on the field week in, week out, something he hasn't done in previous seasons.
Third goal kicker used by Newcastle tonight, with both Abraham and Tanner off the field. Kurt Gidley does well enough as a third or fourth stringer to raise the flags. 36 points to 4. 7 tries to 1 in favour of Newcastle.
Yeah, and they've once again there, the Knights forwards dominating, totally dominating the Penrith forwards in this second half. Early on in the game, the Penrith forwards had the upper hand, but since the Knights forwards have taken control, it's created a tremendous platform for the backs led by Jared Mullen and Kurt Gidley.
Here is DeVico. Again into that left shoulder of Prittis and the right shoulder of Tony Pulatua, edging towards halfway. Mullen was swapped there by Gordon, who came in off his wing. It exposed Campbell on the outside. The ball couldn't reach that far as Clinton has tackled.
You talk about players that have really dug in this year for the Knights, and Clint Newton's one. He's had a few problems with injuries and so on, but he's become very much a mature player too. It's a good kick there once again by the Knights, and we come back to this kicking game, how you see there how effective the Knights kicking game is. Puts Penrith under pressure. Penrith haven't been able to do that with their kicking game all night.
Making the 8 was always going to be a big ask for the Panthers, who have won just 2 of their last 5. Coming here to EnergyAustralia Stadium, and then next week at their home base, CUA Stadium at Penrith, they play host to the Bulldogs. That's next Sunday at 3. After successive losses, what frame of mind will the Bulldogs be in? They'll they'll be up for it, make no mistake about it. Campbell. Trindle leaves it behind. Here is Danny Badeiras trying to brush off Preston Campbell. The Panthers, they've come from everywhere. Final 2 minutes. Matt Gidley would dearly love a hat-trick. Carney, he'd love to put his name on the score sheet. Hasn't had one tonight. Muller behind the line. Gets it on to Lowry. And there is another one. Try number 8. George Carmont is the scorer. And this Newcastle crowd is going absolutely nuts. They're loving this. It's a smashing. 40 points to 4.
Man, the error was forced there. The enthusiastic Newcastle defence off the back of this. Badeiras gets shut down, but they came from everywhere, the Knights support players. They were in position, they spread it wide, and once again the inside defenders get caught short. We can see here Todd Lowry creates the opportunity, pops it out, and Georgie Carmont strolls over in the end for a try. But Penrith, yeah, they are just demoralised at the moment.
What about the ball from Lowry?
Fantastic, just popped it out, created the inside opportunity, and Georgie Carmont, he's had a superb season as well.
10 tries for the season. He'll be buying Todd Lowry maybe 1 or 2 tonight. Great pass as the last pass to try number 8. 4 goal kickers for the evening, and look who it is, Matt Gidley on what may be his last night here at Newcastle. Career goals. Donut. It started out all right and kept turning. The Newcastle Knights are all smiles. Still 15 seconds left on the clock. We're not going to get back to a restart. There are high fives. What a way to finish their regular season. 24 games, 14 wins, 10 losses. Of course, they have the bye next week. And fans, new and old, are appreciating what they're seeing at full time. It is Newcastle 40, Penrith 4.
This has been a Fox Sports production for the National Rugby League Partnership.